Hi, this is Tim. Today we're going to continue building our HMI program. So far in our first video, we configured our communications and tags and configured this start stop, which was a discrete type of tag. Then we had one on analog where we pulled the actual drive speed out plus the bus voltage, and motor amp. And we talked about how we could control the drive speed from the HMI. And then in the last video, we added this trend, and then we added the min and max speed also to give us something to give us kind of a go, no-go gauge. Now at this point, our screen's getting really busy. And so you have two options. Option one is to make everything very small so no one can read it. Or option number two is to break it up into multiple screens. Now I hope you feel option number two is the best way, because that's what we're going to talk about today. And we're not only going to do it because the main screen's getting really busy, we also do it because we only want on the main screen what the operator normally needs to see. Today I'm going to do a video a little later about screen layouts and at least give some pointers on it. But in this video, mainly, we want to start thinking in our head of, okay, what do they need to see daily? Because that's really the big things that need to be there. So for this one, I'm going to break it into 4 screens. We're going to have our main screen, which is really what the operator will look at normally. We're going to have an HOA screen where they can go and they could manually operate all the things that are out there. And then we're going to have a settings screen that'll have things like that min speed and max speed. And finally, we're going to have an alarm screen, which we haven't talked about yet, but we're going to do a video on setting up alarms. So I'm going to go ahead and set up that screen while we're at it. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create our screens. So we're just going to right-click screens and add screen. And we're going to call this screen the HOAs. And also, it's not really clear what this screen one was, so let's rename it to the main. Now first, if we open up the HOAs, we notice we have our default background, because if you went through our first video, I showed you how to change our default background up here on the screens. We'll also have a consistent size, font, and alignment, which is just important for, general, called operator happiness. Now we're going to create another screen. And we're going to rename it to settings. And finally, we're going to add one more. And we're going to rename it to alarms. Now, I don't want to give too many details about how screens should look, because really that, this kind of is one of those things that is up to interpretation. But the one thing I do see on a lot of screens that makes it difficult on operators is lack of consistency of how to navigate. So for over here on the main screen, maybe we click this go to button to go to the HOA screen. So you'd think you'd be looking down here for how to get back, but maybe the back button is shoved somewhere up here. Now the next thing is, where should our navigation be? And this is the tip that was given to me many years ago, and I found it to be very true, is your navigation should be at the bottom of the screen. Then mainly, if an operator goes to press the go to button here and they hesitate because they're not sure about something, they can still see the entire screen. But if we have it right here, and then when they go to press it, we've obscured their view, and it's like, oh, and they'll pull back. But if they're here, it does seem to increase, or let's say it decreases their hesitation. So I'm going to start building out the navigation actually on the HOA screen, just because it's a blank page here. So I know my longest text is going to be settings. So I'm going to change the text of this one by going to properties. Actually, I don't guess I told you how I got this. Let's start all the way at the beginning. Let's go to our toolbox, and then let's scroll up, and we'll find the go to screen button. We'll drag it down. And then let's go to the properties of it, and let's find the text, which currently says go to. Well, I'm going to make it say settings. And here I would say don't use any shorthand. I mean, make that thing say what it means to do. And the reason I use the longest one is that tells me how wide my button needs to be. Now first, it's still a little cramped for me. So I want to give it a little space here. So I think that looks pretty nice. And also let's go ahead and show our grid, and let's go ahead and we'll use it to snap. That way we can get a little consistency. Oops, went too small. There we go. I think that looks really nice. Now that color is definitely not in the TW controls scheme. So let's go to the properties and let's go up and let's find the background color. And we're going to change that, and we still have our recent colors down here. So I'm going to make that darker blue. All right. So we said we were going to have a main, setting, HOA, and alarm screen. So we need 4 of these. We're just going to copy, and then we're going to paste it 3 times. Okay. We'll have one way over here. And we're going to call this one alarms. And then this one right here will actually be settings. And then the next one is going to be HOAs. And then we're going to have our main. All right, we still have some real estate over here, so I'm going to put a company logo there. Let's go back to our toolbox, and let's go to Image, and drag one of those in, and we'll double click it. And okay, we have tons and tons of images here, but mainly we have this import button here. And I'm going to grab the TW Controls logo and select it. And okay, so here is what can be considered a problem. If you notice, it came in and it looks black and definitely not exciting. And the issue is I chose the PNG version of my image, which has a transparent background. Well, the Connected Components workbench doesn't do well with transparent backgrounds, and at least I've never figured out how to fix this. But hold on, let's at least give it a shot here. Maybe I haven't given enough time, but all right, we have an image foreground color. Can I make that just the TW control? Well, that would not work well. We would actually want it white, but okay. I've never found something that actually will fix this. So what you need to do is you need to use an image that doesn't have a transparent background. So I'm going to delete that. I'm going to go back to my toolbox, and I'm going to bring in another image. And this time I'm going to import the JPEG version of my logo. We'll select that. And okay, so now we see it with a nice white background. So we're going to drag that out a little bit. There we go. That looks kind of nice. And then we'll drag it down. Let's bring it down another notch. So we have some extra real estate here, and this kind of looks a little clunky here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go back to my toolbox, and I'm going to drag in a rectangle. All right, and we're going to make this rectangle have a background color of white. Oops, that's not white. Yeah, I clicked this one because it looked close to white, but that's not actually what we want. We actually want pure white. And one, we don't actually have to select it. I can just backspace all this. And if we look up the HTML color code for white, it's going to be FFFFFF. Now that is white. And I'm going to drag this down and then drag it all the way across here. Okay, so all my stuff just disappeared, but now I can right click that and I'm going to send it to the back. Okay, and so that looks decent in my opinion. Now again, this is an opinion. This is something that I use. You can come up with your own, but there, I just shared how I do it. So now we need to make these actually navigate somewhere, because you remember I just drug it in and I copied and pasted. So let's click the main and we can go to properties and let's find where it says screen under navigation. So we're going to make this one navigate to the main screen. Now we're going to click this one, and we're going to make it navigate to the HOA screen. And then we're going to click the settings, and we're going to make it navigate to the settings screen. And finally, we have the alarms, and we're going to make it navigate to the alarm screen. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to press Control A, since that's all I have on the screen, and then I'm going to hit Control C, and that's going to copy that whole bottom navigation bar. And we're on the HOA screen, so we're going to go to the settings screen, and we're going to just hit Control V, and that's going to paste that whole thing there. And then we're going to go to the alarm screen and hit Control V. Okay, now the main screen, we've got some things in our way. So first, what I'm going to do is I am just going to highlight everything at the bottom here that is really in the way. And I'm just going to drag it up over these trends for now. And now we're going to hit Control V there. All right, and you can see my trend is kind of stomping on that, so I'm just going to shove it up out of the way for now. We're gonna fix all this and pretty it up in a little bit. But okay, first let's download this program and see how it works. Also, if you're following exactly how I'm doing this, you're gonna get some warnings at this point because I drug those things over the top of the trend. It's okay, we're gonna fix all that. Just go ahead with your download. Okay, so we've got our screen downloaded and we know this is our main screen. And we click there, that's our HOAs, settings, alarms, back to main. But if you notice, it's not really clear what screen we're on. Now, as we get more functionality here, it'll become a little clearer, but we want to make it where you can tell for sure which screen you're on. Now, I could put a big bold title up here, that would do it, but I can also just change the color of the particular screen button that we're on. So let's do that now. So right now we're on the main screen here. So let's click the properties of it and let's go up and find our background color. And let's just change it. Well, since we've been using this one, let's just switch over to this one. Now I'm not particularly jumping at this, but I think it'll get our point across. Actually, I'm not really excited about that at all. Let's see here. Let's just select. Oh, no, I like that. I don't like that even as much. All right, so I would actually do some thinking here, probably. But we'll stick with the two colors we've been using just because, you know, again, this isn't about colors. So, all right, on our main screen, it's going to be this color. So now let's go to the HOA screen, and we'll select the HOA. And go to Properties. And this time we'll change its background color to that lighter blue. And then we'll go to Settings and select Settings, Properties, change its background color to the lighter blue. And finally we'll go to I was about to mess up there. I need to go to the alarm screen, then select Alarms, Properties. And there we go. Okay, now I really do not like this color. I know that I don't like this color, but we're just proving point here. Now, if you have a particular color you think would be pleasing and it's not shouting, in other words, I would not make this red. I might would make it a green, but not a bright green. And that's what I'm probably thinking right now. It's like, okay, now, I mean, here's where I'll ask Amber later. I'll be like, okay, what color, greenish color would go with that? That's what I probably would do. But I don't have a lot of sense of style though. So I know that color's wrong, but it's gonna do for now. So let's download this program. Obviously we're on our main program because we know that's what's all here, but we can see it here too. And now when we press the HOAs, okay, it switches to that, settings, alarms. It mainly gives the operator a really good feel for, okay, how they're navigating. Okay, so now we already had a few settings that we needed to move over. So let's go back to our main screen. We have some settings here that we definitely want to put on the settings screen. And one of them got hidden, and yours probably did too if you followed along with what I'm doing. is there was originally, when you created your file, there was a go-to config here. And we've drug it up here, and then we drug the trend over top of it. So let's click our trend and just right-click it and send to back. And there you go. Now we got that go-to config here. And also, yeah, this go-to button here that we were using, we can go ahead and delete it because we're not going to use it. But okay, so I'm going to hit the control key, and I'm going to select the go-to config, the min speed setting, that min speed text, the max speed setting, and the max speed text. I'm going to hit Control X, and that's going to cut all those out. And now let's go to our settings screen, and we'll paste those in. All right, so we have the go-to config button here, and honestly, I can't say I always put that on a screen because it's rarely needed. But I mean, if you want it there, that's great. Please don't leave it at the default shouting color. I mean, make it kind of blend in, and yeah, I would probably just hide it somewhere. Also, I don't really agree with dragging this in really small and making it where it's some obscure blip that somebody accidentally hits either. So let's go to its properties. And we'll go ahead and change that background color, and we'll make it the exact same as all the rest of them. And then let's go and change our font size. I believe all the rest of our font is actually 30. Maybe it's 25. I can't remember. Yeah, but okay, I don't want to make it huge. So here is one case where, yeah, I'd probably make that font a little smaller. So let's drop it back to 25. See if that'll get it in there. There we go. And I don't know where I'd put it right now. It'd probably just dance around until we're near the end of writing our program and it ends up somewhere, or I would delete it. Okay, so we have a max speed in 7.5. Now at this point, this is kind of a settings screen that, has some text, so I don't think it needs all this shouting of buttons and everything. Now, also, this is something that I don't really like how Connected Components Workbench does, is at least nobody has shown me how yet. I can't put a label on this where I could say max speed : 75. I have to have those separate, and that causes two issues. First, yeah, obviously we've got to make these two blend in a little better, but it also makes it where the operator will press on the max speed text trying to change the value. So I like to make it where you can touch the entire thing. And I haven't figured out how to do this in this, so maybe somebody could show me how to do it in the comments. But in this case, I want these to look kind of pleasing, kind of the same. So one, we're going to put max speed : and also I'm going to left justify these text. And then I'm going to click this. Now I still want a fairly big field here because I want the operator not have to hit this precisely. In other words, when I'm done, actually let's do it first. So I'm going to go to properties, and I am going to make my mainly I'm going to make this background fill style. I'm going to make it transparent. And then I'm going to make this border style here none. So that's what I want. Now I am going to change my text color because our text color over here is black. So we're going to click that, and we're going to change its text color to black. Now if you notice, black HTML hex was 000000. So you can just type that in. But even now, one thing I don't like is I would like to put % behind this. So that would require another piece of text, and it really just makes it clunky. So I mean, there should be a way to put a suffix and a prefix on this, but again, I don't know how to. Now I could make just general text. In other words, I could add, actually, there's another way I could do this, and I'll go ahead and go through this, but I think this makes editing really tough. But let's go ahead and, all right, first, I'd still want this fairly wide. In other words, what I don't want to do is I don't want to make this just big enough for the text, because that's going to make it difficult on the operator. And I'm going to make it, probably something about like that. Also, we're going to left justify that also. Now I'll bring this, and one, I probably wouldn't say max, I would say max speed, I don't know. It depends on what other text it is, but I usually try to spell out exactly what we're talking about. So this isn't even actually the maximum speed. This is the maximum, we're going to call it acceptable. Because it's not actually a limit. It's what we used in the trends video just to make the lines on this graph. So we'll call that the maximum acceptable speed. And let's drag that out of the way, and then we'll figure out where this text ends at. All right, and so then I'll put the 7.5 right beside of it. Now the issue with this is, well, there's lots of issues with this, is one, you can only click on this area. Also, that's 75 watts, which I don't really like. Now, if I put the percent behind it, it really chokes down on the area that you have to actually touch here, for the operator to touch to enter a value. So here is how I really do it, especially if it's a smaller screen. Now again, I would love to hear people's suggestions on, you know, how there's just seems like I'm missing something here. But okay, what I can actually do is I can take this maximum acceptable speed here and double click on it, and I've been editing this. I can hit space, and then I have number here. So I can now select a tag of the maximum speed, or as we have it tagged, max speed. And all right, we want it 3 digits, and we want 1 decimal place. And then I can go space percent. And so that makes it, that's what I really want to see. So the issue is you can't actually click on this. So what I'll do then is I can click on this one and change it, is I will change this one's font to the actual color of the background. And I can put this right behind this. And now, when we download this, you'll see that we can actually see all this neatly, and we'll be able to touch on it and change it. But all right, for the minimum speed, I'm gonna put it the other way, because I do think that makes it really difficult if you're actually writing your program, because yeah, we've got to move that out of the way and remember that we've got something hidden behind it. So I wouldn't do this on a bigger screen, but that's just something I've been able to do in other HMI programs that I haven't figured out how to do in Connected Components Workbench. So help me out, put in the comments how we can fix that. All right, so now we're going to have minimum acceptable speed. So first, let's just put that minimum acceptable speed, colon. Also, make sure, even though it looks like it is about the same as the one above, it's not. This one right here is still set up for alignment of center. So let's go for left. It only made a small difference, but it was a difference. And then we'll drag our minimum speed up here. We're going to change its properties. Mainly, we're going to make transparent the background and our border style of none. Then we're going to change that text color to 000000, which is black. Okay. Now I'm not going to worry about the percent because I showed you how to do it in the other one here. We're going to left justify that as well. And okay, that looks decent. Obviously it doesn't look exactly the same as above, but close enough. Let's talk about how these two work now. So let's go ahead and download this program. Okay, so we'll go to our settings. And all right, here's our two values. Now here's the difference is if I hit minimum here, it does nothing. He's going to press harder trying to get it to do something. Now, the trick is you've got to touch the actual 25 right now. Now, the top line, I can touch anywhere and bring up its. So that's the difference in the two methods. So I really like using the top one, but it makes it difficult to edit. Also, be really, really careful. In fact, I shouldn't have done this. If you notice, I'm right towards the edge of the screen. Nothing that the operator should have to normally touch to be right at the edge because one, it's less sensitive here, and they'll press harder and they'll actually end up damaging the screen. So I should shift this down and shift this over a little bit. So yeah, we'll just grab this. I would just shift it over and down just one, and I would start something like there. Now here is one time is okay, settings. Now first, we hadn't talked really about what screen size you should use, but it's not that unusual for settings for there to be more than you can put on a screen this size. So maybe we do need multiple pages. So again, let's try to make it kind of elegant and easy to see how we're navigating. So let's say we needed a settings page 2. Is first, okay, let's create another screen, and we're going to call this one settings page 2. And all right, so now this one, obviously, please rename to settings page 1. So let's highlight everything here at the bottom, and we're going to copy or Control C, and we're going to go to settings page 2 and paste that. Okay, so now we have our 2 settings screens, but let's make it a little easier to see where we're navigating. So one, let's copy the settings button, because that kind of shows us where we currently are, and let's copy one of the other buttons. And again, yeah, I know I would not use this color, and I probably should have changed that early on, but we're into this now, so don't get on me about my color selection on that lighter blue. But all right, so properties, let's change the text on this one. Well, first let's change where it goes. So this is actually settings page 1. And then let's go up here to our text. And we're going to change it to page 1. And then let's select the other one. And this goes to settings page 2. And we'll change its text to page 2. Now we'll copy those 2. Oops, got a little too much. Copy these 2 buttons. We're going to go to page 1. And paste them. And now let's change these text colors. We'll just swap them because right now we're on page 1. So we'll go to properties, and we're going to change this one's background color to our darker, and we're going to change this one's background color to our lighter. And let's download that so we can see how it works, because this is something I think is left out of a lot of them. We have to kind of, we'll call it, bury things further down in screens. Okay, so now when we go to our settings screen, you see where we are. We have page 1. We can hit page 2, and when it's clear we flip to page 2, we'd have more settings. Then we can flip back up to page 1, and we could have page 3, 4, 5, or whatever. Mainly, we could easily index through these. Okay, and I think that is a decently navigable screen. So in future videos, obviously, we've got to configure our alarms. We've got an HOA screen we've got to configure. We have the print command that we are going to do. Yeah, I think those are the big 3 right now. Unless you have other suggestions, feel free to put them in the comments. Again, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Till next time.
Hi, this is Tim.
And this is Amber of TW Controls. We run the automation store. Hey, thanks for finding our channel.
Here's a playlist with some similar videos.
And YouTube thinks you'll like this video.
Please like our video and subscribe to our channel.
And if our videos have helped you make some money and you're not using our products, please consider supporting us on Patreon.
Till next time.
See ya!